Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, at the conclusion of my little Bulldog reports here, we're going to go straight into an interview with the managing editor of Bulldog Reports, Mark Hansel. And I'm going to be talking to them about some developments in the Bill Erpenbeck case, as well as some general things, including an op-ed piece that Mark Hansel has written. First, I want to talk about Texas. It's the big story, folks. Texas is a disaster. But you know what? It's all getting back online. They're going to get their electricity up. They're going to get their water going. What's going on down there is just unbelievable. I've spoken to some folks. But you know what? It'll all be okay, because it always is. Ted Cruz. I'm one of these people that has absolutely no issue with Ted Cruz going to Cancun. Whether it was a vacation, a planned vacation, escorting his kids, whatever. He's not the governor. And you know the way I look at it is, the first thing I would want to do is get the hell out of that place too. You know, we live in a mobile society. You can be anywhere in the world and you can be texting, email, making phone calls, checking on doing things. It's a different world. And you know what? ABC News covered that 5 times more than Cuomo. Can't make that up. Trump. There's only one president buried in the Arlington National Cemetery. Presidents want to be buried in their hometowns. One president has been buried there, Woodrow Wilson. Congress is passing a bill that if you're impeached twice, you can't be in the Arlington National Cemetery on Trump. It is unbelievable what they can't get enough of anti-Trump. It makes them look so petty and stupid, and where's the unity in that? You know, Biden's just a big liar. He's going to be the president for all of us, right? Nikki Haley now realizes she screwed up. Asked for a meeting with Trump in Mar-a-Lago. He said, nah, baby, nah. Sorry, Nikki, you jumped off the Trump train and got ran over by everybody else. All right, Jane Timken. Jane Timken's announced, she's the Ohio State Republican chairman. She's announced that and was a Trump chairman. She wasn't Trump chairman, state chairman, is going to run for U.S. Senate. And there's folks saying that, Trump will support her. I'm telling you right now, I don't trust Jane Timken. She is cut from the same cloth, I think, as all the other country club Republicans. I predict, though, that Trump will end up supporting her, but I'm just telling you, I don't trust her. She'll just be another Jeff Sessions. That's my opinion. California, you hear about the California School Board? They say, the parents want the kids to go back in school because they just want their babysitters back. Really? I mean, this is unbelievable. You know what? You're right. Teachers are babysitters for the day because the parents got to go work. Iran nuclear deal. Can't make it up. Biden wants to talk to him. Get back in that nuclear deal. Makes no sense. No sense. There's 9 major candidates for Cincinnati City Council. Smitherman got out. 9 of them. I tell you who I like, just because I know her and she's a cool chick. Kelly Prather. A black woman, folks. Bulldog likes Kelly Prather for Cincinnati mayor. You know what? We got to line up Kelly. I want to interview Kelly Prather. I'm going to go ahead and endorse Kelly Prather for mayor of the city of Cincinnati. All the other ones are retreads. Give me Kelly Prather. The first black mayor for the city of Cincinnati. The Bulldog endorses. Take that. Chris Cuomo has actually called, from CNN, has actually called for a governor in Texas to resign in light of some of his comments. But not his brother, Andrew, who apparently there's at least 1,000 people and more have died because of him. Mars Rover Landing. Everybody thinks China, China, China. We've been there 8 times now. It's a big deal. We landed a rover on Mars. That's a big deal. All right, I'm done with all those things, Roger. There's my man, Mark Hansel, the managing editor of the Bulldog Reports, as opposed to the non-managing editor. What's a managing editor mean, Mark Hansel?
It means I manage things, Bulldog. I manage the page. I manage the news.
By the way, Mark, you're doing everything. Mark, you're doing a great job. Brad Amster designed us a great website, bulldogreports.com. Folks, we wanted to create this because of how the Drudge Report went off. And I'm telling you, me and Mark, I'm not kidding you, spend all our days in between everything else I'm doing, I'm checking the news, we're selecting stories. And if you check out bulldogreports.com, you're going to get conservative, you're going to get libertarian, you're going to get pro-Trump news that you're going to want to look at. And I can tell you right now, Mark, I think our site is better than all the other sites. I have the other apps on my phone, and our site's better. And I want to announce, Mark, that next week, the app for Bulldog Reports is going to be out.
Boy, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I was telling Roger this morning, we do 40 stories a day at least we post. So that's quite a bit of news.
Yeah. Now, Mark, before we get to your op-ed piece that you wrote, I want to get to Bill Erpenbeck. The Erpenbeck story in Northern Kentucky and Cincinnati, when it came out, when it all hit, everybody knows when you say Bill Erpenbeck, they know what we're talking about. It was every single day in the news for a year or two. I mean, it was just constant. It was the big story. This River City News, we like to give credit where it's due. Our friends at River City News did a story a little while ago about it. But give us an update. I think our viewers are anxious to know. In fact, I'd like you to put that in the title, Bulldog Reports, Roger, that not only I'm interviewing Mark, but we're going to give a Bill Erpenbeck update. What's the Bill Erpenbeck update?
Well, initially we thought that he was going to be released. That was what we'd heard initially. And he is being released from the general population. He's going into a halfway house. He'll serve the rest of his time. He'll be there till at least 2025. I've been trying to find out why, and I haven't had much luck. Dissemination of information is always difficult, and even more so now. But, there's a few reasons, as you know. Sometimes people are released because of health. Sometimes they're released now because of COVID concerns, released to a different facility. So there's a few reasons why he might have been released. But the important thing is for people here who may hear that he's being released, he's not coming back to Northern Kentucky. He's not going to be getting a shovel and going out and digging up money or anything like that. But he is going to be in a facility until 2025. I believe it's in Fort Myers.
To my knowledge, there was never a divorce between he and his wife that was ever filed.
Well, that's significant.
And I know his kids live with her down in Florida, so they could be close to him. But it's an interesting story. He got 28 years, if I remember correctly. Isn't that what he got? 28 years.
I believe so. I mean,
for a white collar crime, for a white collar crime where the victims got paid back, it's unbelievable. But boy, he had it lined up to where he probably would have had 7 years until he went after the judge, and then him and his dad, they just dug their grave deeper. Man, it's Exhibit A of what not to do.
Well, I seem to recall a couple of years ago, didn't they find some money on a golf course or something?
Yeah, they found some money in a golf course that were dug up that he had hidden, but he had given it to his friend. All right, well, let's talk about your op-ed piece that you're posting on Bulldog Reports. You have something you want to say. Say it, Mark. What do you want to say? What's the topic, and what about the topic do you want to say to the Bulldog Nation and the American jury?
Well, the topic is censorship, particularly censorship of conservative voices. And I'd like to think I'd feel the same way if it was liberal voices. You look at what's happened with Parler. Trump, as a sitting president, got a lifetime ban from Twitter. There's just the Epic Times. They've been demonetized on YouTube. And it's no coincidence. Yeah, even Kevin Sorbo, for crying out loud, has had his Facebook account deactivated. You have to wonder why you're silencing conservative voices. I mean,
Mark,
the best way to argue something is to let people speak.
I can talk about this. If the shoe was on the other foot, I would be very, very, don't get me wrong, it'd be kind of funny that all the liberal sites, but it would make me very, very uncomfortable to know that I was on the team that was doing that. I wouldn't like it. It would make me uncomfortable to know that was going on. It obviously doesn't make the liberals uncomfortable.
Well, and there's no question. There's been censorship. I think I even said in the story going back to the 1700s, where where they censored news. But it's always been for a specific purpose. Probably the best example is Jeffrey Wigand, Brown and Williamson, when they threatened to sue CBS out of business to keep him quiet. CBS eventually ran their 60-minute story after the Wall Street Journal did. But that was because there were high stakes. This just seems to be, we don't want conservatives to speak. We want to silence their voices. We'll use our social media platform. And these are heavy hitters. I mean, I think Tucker Carlson identified the Ford Foundation, George Soros, Michael Bloomberg, Bezos. These are people who have influence, not just with advertising, but with pressure they can exert, on these platforms. And it's ridiculous. If you have to hear what somebody says and absorb it before you can agree with it or disagree with it.
Right. You know what makes me mad about the censorship is all kinds of reasons. It's wrong. But the other thing is what they are censoring is a disagreement. All those people that you mentioned, like Zorbos, Hercules, nothing that he has said is like, go kill people, go burn down things. Nothing like the sites that they keep up, the Ayatollah Khomeini, Antifa, Black Lives Matter. I mean, it's these sites that they're censoring aren't causing any problems anyway.
Well, you just look at the comments that they allowed up over, the recent death of our good ally, Rush Limbaugh. I mean, to let that stuff stay up at a time when a man's dying, you can say anything you want about Rush. He
lived long enough to get cancer, thank God, somebody said.
How horrible is that? His family's grieving. Millions of people around the country love this guy, love him, hate him. I wouldn't say that about anybody. My worst enemy, I would not say that.
Well, I would say that.
You have respect for people.
I would say that about my worst enemy, Mark.
I believe that.
Well, Mark, thanks. Keep up the good work. I'm going to keep sending you news items. You keep writing original reports. And you know what I've been talking about the Bulldog Show and Bulldog Reports, Mark? I've been joking that I feel like we're a rock band playing in garages and small clubs until we hit the big time. But the big time's going to come.
I'm glad to hear you say that. I believe that as well, and we'll just keep plugging away.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, that's Mark Hansel, managing editor. Check out the Bulldog Reports. Keep checking out the Bulldog Show. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. I hope today is yours. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the Bulldog Show and hit that bell so you'll be alerted when I do other videos. Last but not least, please comment below. I'd love to hear from you.